Why do they always reappear? The same woman who ghosted you, asked for space, or vanished without explanation, suddenly pops back into your life, but never when you needed her most. Not when you were lying awake, hurting in silence. She comes back only when your absence speaks louder than your presence ever did. This isn't love, it's timing. It's curiosity. Sometimes it's just control. Here's the truth most men miss. Her return isn't a romantic twist of fate. It's often a test. Many men get caught off guard. They see her come back as validation, a second chance, a sign she's realized his value. But what if it's not about you at all? What if she's just checking if the door is still unlocked? Because when she left, something changed. Not just between you, but within you. So when she returns, it's not your redemption. It's your decision. Do you let her back in the same way? Do you offer the same love, the same access, to someone who once threw it away? Most men fail here. They don't stand firm, they fall back. They react with need instead of power. This isn't about anger, it's about awareness. It's about creating boundaries that command respect. Because if you don't lead, she will, and once she controls the tempo, you've already lost the rhythm. Welcome to the Stoic couple. This isn't about winning her back. It's about standing your ground when she tries to walk through a door she once slammed. Because yes, many women return. But the real question is, will she find the same man she left? Or a man who now walks with silence, strength, and self-worth? Let's dive in. Trick number 1. Don't trust her return. Just because she came back doesn't mean you welcome her with open arms. It might sound harsh, but it's the truth most men avoid because their heart still aches for closure. And when that closure shows up wearing makeup and nostalgia, it's easy to confuse it with redemption, but you must remember something. When she walked away, it wasn't an accident. It wasn't confusion. It was a decision. And that decision came from somewhere deep, something she believed was missing in you, or something she thought she could find better somewhere else. Now she's back. But why? Not when you were at your lowest. Not when you reached out and were left unread. Not when you needed understanding. She didn't return then. She returns now. Now that your silence has become strength. Now that you've started healing. Now that you've stopped chasing. And still men because they want to believe it means something. That maybe she's changed. That maybe she finally realizes your worth. But most of the time, it's not love. It's curiosity. It's ego. It's control. She wants to know if the door is still open. If she can still access the version of you who begged, explained and hoped. That's the real motive behind the casual message. Hey, I was thinking about you. It's not affection. It's a temperature check. Will you respond like nothing ever happened? Will you light up with false hope? Will you hand her your trust without asking why she deserves it? A man who knows his value doesn't rush to reply. He doesn't dive into memory. He doesn't romanticize pain. He waits. He watches. He lets her actions speak louder than her timing because timing matters. Where was that message when you were breaking in silence? Where was her concern when you were rebuilding from nothing? That absence matters. And if you ignore it now, you'll repeat every scar she left on your soul. You see, this is where most men crumble. She sends a breadcrumb. He hands her the whole loaf. She says, I miss you. He offers the same heart. She once shattered. That's not loyalty. That's self-betrayal. You must protect your peace more than you protect her feelings. Because when someone comes back, the question isn't why they return. It's what have they proven to deserve access again. Your time, your presence, your trust. These are not free. They are earned. And if she left once, she must earn her way back in. Not with words, not with memories, but with effort, consistency, and patience. Let her wonder. Let her work. Let her feel that you're not the man who gives without limits anymore. Her return should never be your validation. It should be your warning. Trick number 2. Control the first conversation. If she comes back, the first words you say or don't say will define everything. Most men get this part wrong. They react with relief. They think this is my chance to make things right. So they open up, they overshare, they explain what happened, they try to reconnect, and in doing so, they hand the steering wheel right back to her. That first conversation is not a reunion. It's a recalibration. It's not about catching up. It's not about apologies. It's not about explaining your pain or proving your worth. It's about setting the tone for who you are now. Because here's the truth. She left. And when she left, She gave up her access to your emotions, your plans, your energy. So when she returns, you don't meet her with eagerness. You meet her with stillness. You don't speak just to fill silence. You speak to send a message. You're no longer the man she walked away from. You don't crave closure. You don't chase understanding. You don't need her to explain herself. Because real men don't explain. They evolve. The first conversation is your opportunity to demonstrate that evolution. Without a speech, without a confession, just by how you carry yourself, she'll try to read you to see if you're still emotionally available to sense. If she still holds space in your heart, she might steer the talk toward nostalgia, memories, maybe even apologies. Let her, but don't follow. Stay grounded. Let her words pass like clouds. You're not there to relive the past. You're there to protect the man you've become in her absence. Speak less. Listen more. And whatever you say, make sure it comes from clarity, not craving. She needs to feel it. That your identity no longer depends on her presence. That your self-worth isn't a mirror reflecting her validation. Every time you speak, let her hear distance. Not bitterness, but detachment. The kind of calm that only comes from rebuilding yourself without applause. Because if she senses that she still has emotional leverage, if she feels that her words can still sway your direction, she'll lose respect fast. Women test with tone, with pauses, with open loops in conversation. They want to see if you'll fill the space with insecurity, if you'll chase answers, if you'll break the silence first. Don't let her sit in it. Let her feel that she's not talking to the same man anymore. And that doesn't mean you're rude. It means you're measured. This isn't about punishment. It's about posture. You're not pushing her away. You're showing her that if she wants a place in your life again, she'll have to approach it differently this time, because the man you are now doesn't hand out access just because someone asks nicely. That first conversation isn't for her. It's for you. It's your line in the sand. She doesn't just get to walk back in like nothing happened. She doesn't get to reset the story with small talk and smiles. And if she tries to, don't match her energy. Match your growth. Because that calm, firm, collected tone, it says everything you don't need to explain. It says, you left, I rebuilt, and now if you want to be here, it won't be on your terms. That's the kind of presence that turns tables. That's what makes her wonder if she ever truly understood you. And in that uncertainty, the power returns to you. Trick number 3, no instant access to you. This is where most men fail. She comes back, maybe with a message, maybe with a phone call, maybe with a casual, hey, I was thinking about you. And in that moment, your heart lights up. You feel seen again, noticed, important. It feels like relief, but it's a trap because in that instant, you forget something crucial. She left. She removed herself. She chose absence. And now she wants access like nothing happened. That's the mistake. Giving her instant access to your time, your energy, your emotions, handing it all back like it was never taken. Acting like the distance never happened. As if her silence didn't cut you open. As if her walking away didn't force you to rebuild everything she abandoned. You can't forget that. Not out of anger, but out of self-respect. Because access is power, and the easier you give it away, the less value it holds in her eyes. She needs to feel the boundary now. Not bitterness, but a barrier she has to earn her way back through. See, women watch. They take mental notes. And when she returns and sees you, still reply in seconds, still emotionally available, still pouring out your thoughts and feelings, she realizes something dangerous. You were waiting, and waiting men don't get respected. They get used. That's not strength. That's need. And need never attracts real value. It only invites imbalance. So what do? You move slow. You respond with thought, not excitement. You keep your vibe measured, not rude, not cold, just intentional, not deep talks, no emotional dumps, no rushed calls or instant plans. You're not being defensive, you're being deliberate, because here's the truth. If she can come back and pick up right where she left off, you've taught her that leaving had no cost, no consequence, no boundary. And that's not love. That's access abuse. Real connection doesn't skip over damage. It doesn't pretend distance didn't happen. It rebuilds brick by brick, effort by effort. If you let her back in without asking her to re-earn it, you're teaching her that you don't value your own worth. And if you don't value it, why would she? That's why you must become selective again, not reactive. She may be sweet. She may seem sincere. She may say all the things you used to long to hear, but none of that matters without action, consistency, effort, Don't give her your mind. Don't give her your availability. Let her feel the shift, that you're not easy to reach anymore. Not because you're hurt, but because you're healed. And healing changes the rules. She should feel it in your tone, your pace, your silence, that this version of you, he's harder to read, harder to predict, harder to possess. And that's the kind of man she doesn't forget. That's the kind of presence that makes her stop and wonder. Did I ever really know him? Why can't I reach him like before? Because now you're no longer her comfort zone. You're her question mark. And that uncertainty, that's power. So, no, you don't block her, you don't lash out, you don't play games, but you don't give her the version of you she once abandoned either. You give her the evolved version, the man who values peace over attention, the one who understands that access to him is something to be earned, not assumed. Trick number 4. Test her intentions without asking. When she comes back, most men want clarity. They want to know why she's reaching out, what changed, and if she's serious this time, but needing her to explain herself is already giving her power. You don't test a woman's intentions by questioning her. You test her by observing her quietly, intentionally, without giving yourself away, because her words may sound sincere, but her consistency is what tells the truth. You don't need to confront her. You don't need closure conversations. You don't need to ask, "Are you back for real this time?" You simply step back. You watch. You let her effort reveal the answer. Women often return before they even know what they want. Sometimes it's nostalgia, sometimes ego, sometimes boredom. They want to see if you're still there, still soft, still waiting. That's why silence is your ally. Not ignoring her completely, but being slow, neutral, and deliberate. You don't offer emotional access right away. You don't initiate deep talks. You don't open your mind like the break never happened. You let time speak. You keep your schedule vague. You keep your responses minimal. You stay calm, focused, detached. Let her do the reaching now. Let her invest. Does she keep showing up? Does she respect your pace? Does she respond with patience or with frustration? You don't need to answer right away. You don't need to fill the silence, because if she's only here to see if she still has you, your stillness will confuse her. And confusion exposes motive. Women take mental notes. And when you don't chase, when you don't react, they notice. If she really wants something real, she'll slow down too. She'll match your energy. She'll make space for your boundaries. But if she gets impatient, if she pushes too fast, if she disappears when you don't engage, then you've seen enough. You're not playing games, you're protecting your peace. You treat her return like a trial period. Not out of spite, but out of self-respect. You're not rude, you're not cold, you're measured. Because the man you've become doesn't give access without intention. She doesn't get to skip the work. She doesn't get to walk back in like nothing happened. Let her show you, not tell you. You don't need promises. You need consistency. Let your silence reveal what her words can't. Let her earn her way back if she's serious. And if she's not, you'll know without saying a word. Trick number 5. Keep your options open when she comes back. One of the worst things you can do as a man is to close every other door. The moment she reappears, she reaches out. Maybe it's a text, maybe a call, maybe something vague like, "I've been thinking about you." And just like that, you drop everything. You pose your life. You stop talking to other women. You cancel your weekend plans. You make her the priority again. But here's the problem. She hasn't earned that place yet. Not anymore. Just because she's interested again doesn't mean she's committed. Just because she contacts you doesn't mean she deserves exclusivity. She left once, and that decision matters. So now your job is to protect yourself, to move wisely, and to keep your options open, not to be manipulative, not to play games, but to show the world and yourself that you are not dependent on any single outcome. Because the truth is, many men go right back into tunnel vision. She comes back and they instantly forget the silence. They forget the distance. They forget the work they did while she was gone. They act like nothing happened. And in doing so, they hand back all their power. But a man with options doesn't operate like that. He stays grounded. He stays aware. He stays open. You can welcome her back. You can hear her out. You can even see where it goes. But what you don't do is shut the rest of your life down for someone who hasn't proved she deserves that space again. You keep living. You stay on your path. You remain focused on your growth, your vision, your values. Let her enter that life, not become the center of it. Picture this. She wants to see you. You agree, but you're different now. You're calm, grounded, kind, but no longer emotionally available like before. You don't ask the same questions. You don't check in like you used to. You're not texting every morning. You're not always replying right away. She notices. She starts to question. What's changed? Why does he feel distant? Who else is capturing his attention? That's where the shift begins. Now, instead of you chasing her, she's wondering how to earn you again. She's no longer the one evaluating. Now, she's the one who's uncertain. And that uncertainty, that quiet strength in you creates the real value. Not because you're cold, but because you're clear. You're no longer reacting, you're choosing. You're not closing off your world just because a familiar face came back into it. If she wants to return, she needs to feel that access to you is not automatic. It's not guaranteed. It's not based on history. It's based on effort. And effort reveals intention, not words, not nostalgia, not sweet messages. Only consistency proves she's serious. So don't rush back. Don't assign her a role she hasn't re-earned. Don't cancel other opportunities for someone who walked away once. Move with freedom, not out of pride, but out of discipline. Because options don't mean disrespect, they mean strength. And the man who has options doesn't chase, he chooses. Trick number 6. Make her renew. She left once. Whatever the reason, distance, doubts, or drama, she chose to walk away. That means something. Don't forget it just because she comes back. A woman returning is not a sign that it's time to pick up where you left off. It's a moment that requires strength, clarity, because the truth is simple. If you let her walk back into your life without earning it, you've learned nothing. You've grown on the outside but remained weak on the inside, and weak men repeated lessons. When she reaches out, it's easy to slip into fantasy to think maybe she changed. Maybe now she sees your value, but feelings aren't facts. If she truly wants to be in your life again, she has to prove it with action, with consistency, with time. You're not an open door. You're not a backup plan. You're not comfort on demand. You are a man of value. And value demands before. This isn't about punishing her. It's not about resentment. It's about protecting what you've rebuilt, your peace, your focus, your identity. She walked away when things weren't perfect. And now that she's uncertain about her other options, she remembers you. That doesn't mean she's ready. It means she's curious. So don't be so quick to give. Make her re-earn what she lost. That means slowing the pace. That means not getting physical too soon. That means holding your emotional ground. You don't initiate deep conversations. You don't overshare. You observe. You let her show up consistently. You let her match your standards quietly. You let her prove she can handle the new version of you. Because if you've grown, you're no longer the man who begs. You're not the man who settles. You're the man who decides who stays. And re-entry into your life is not a right. It's a privilege. It has a price. Not of pain, but of patience. Not of desperation, but of daily action. If she can't move with intention, if she pushes for instant closeness, if she gets frustrated that you're not the same, she's not ready. Real change is quiet. It doesn't rush. It doesn't demand. It adjusts. You'll know if she's serious by how she treats the weight, the slow rhythm, the boundaries. Does she ask how you've grown? Does she respect what you built without her? Does she stay even when it's not easy? Or is she just checking if she still has power? That's what you need to know. Because love without respect is just attachment. And coming back without effort is just nostalgia. If you offer everything again, attention, access, energy, you teach her that walking away has no cost. But if you hold your ground, if you let her earn it again, you teach her that being with you is an honor. She doesn't need to beg, but she needs to invest, to try, to adapt. Not with big romantic moves, but with the little things like showing up, like respecting your time, like matching your pace, like honoring your boundaries. This isn't about making her feel small. It's about proving that your standards are real, that you don't lower them just because someone from your past misses you. Forgiveness is noble, but forgetting the lesson is foolish. You can let her in, but not all at once. You can care, but stay clear. You can be kind, but never forget the difference between warmth and weakness. She left. And now she's knocking. That doesn't mean you open the door wide. It means you open it slowly with awareness. Let her work for it. Let her show up. Let her earn what she once gave up. Because the man you are today is not waiting, he's watching. And this time he's not hoping, he's choosing. Trick number 7. Never go back to the old you. Here's the truth. Most men ignore. If you return to the man you used to be, you will recreate the exact same outcome, same patterns, some mistakes, some ending. A woman coming back doesn't mean you continue where things stopped. Too many men assume that they act as if time froze, as if the problems disappeared, and all they need to do is go back to how things were. But how things were is exactly what made her walk away. You've changed, right? Or at least you should have. You've done the work. You've faced the silence, the rejection, the doubt. You rebuilt your self-respect. You reconnected with your purpose. You found your footing again without her. And now she's back. But don't let her presence drag you back into the version of you that was built on fear, approval-seeking, and emotional dependency. You're not that man anymore. The man who ignored his own needs just to make her stay. The man who chased her validation. The man who tolerated disrespect and called it love. Going back to that version isn't romantic. It's reckless. It tells her that your growth was temporary, that you still don't value yourself unless she's around. If she couldn't see your worth, then she won't respect a man who gives it away now. So don't drop everything for her return. Don't bend your new standards to accommodate old patterns. If you want this to work now, you need to stand as the man you've become, not regress into the man she left. She's changed maybe, but so have you. You're not here to impress. You're here to maintain your alignment. A lot of men abandon their growth out of fear. They worry that if they're too cold, too distant, too strong, they'll lose her again. So they soften, they become overly available. They try to reassure her constantly. And just like that, they lose all the power they fought so hard to gain. You're not leading from strength anymore. You're reacting from fear. And fear has no place in a man who's already risen. So stay the course. Let her feel the weight of your transformation. Let her meet the man who no longer breaks to be loved. You're not chasing. You're choosing. Your growth. Your future. Your purpose. They come first now. Not her approval. Not her comfort. Never settle again for the version of yourself that begged to be seen. Let her return to something stronger or not at all. Let's get honest for a second. If she left once and you haven't truly changed, then there's nothing stopping her from leaving again. This isn't about hating her, it's about protecting you. Most men don't need a second chance with her. They need a first commitment to themselves. You can't expect things to be different. If you go back to the same dynamic, the same mindset, the same version of yourself that allowed the breakup to happen, she may come back for many reasons. Regret, loneliness, control, curiosity. But none of those mean she's ready for a better future with you. What matters now is not why she returned, but how you respond. This is your moment. To stop negotiating your value. To stop trying to fix things you didn't break. To stop proving something she was never ready to see. Growth doesn't mean going backward. It means standing taller, speaking less, and expecting more. So if she wants to stay, let her show you. Let her earn it. And if she doesn't, you walk away cleaner than before. Because your peace, your focus, and your mission are worth more than any recycled romance. If this hits something inside you, if you've been through it and walked away stronger, drop your experience in the comments. Even one line could help another man who's scrolling through wondering if he's the only one. And if this message helped you refocus, hit that like button. Not for the numbers, but to remind the algorithm that truth still matters. And if you're ready to walk this road with me, one step at a time with fewer excuses and more clarity, subscribe to the Stoic Couple and turn on notifications. Not because I need you to, but because you need to stay connected to the kind of reminders that make you stronger every time you press play. And always remember, never go back to the version of you that someone else found easy to leave. See you in the next video.